Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Today is August 18th, 2026. It's been like a week and some change. Maybe even almost 2 weeks. But had a really good week. Had an amazing week. Had a pretty amazing week. Most last week was not too eventful until this past weekend where my mom and I we went to a book fair. And this was the first time my mom went outside to just promote her business. It's the first time my mom went outside really to just promote her business outside of working with the publisher she's been working with. And I think she did extremely well for where we were. Um, there were things that she learned on how to present kind of in how to present what she has with the intention of getting a sale now instead of just focusing on getting leads. She was able to see someone wanting to actually learn from her how to do what my mom does. She got to see that there are other people who are expanding what they're doing as authors, and mostly very few of them had the ability to do or were doing what she is capable of. So there's absolutely a market for what she does. And I am glad that she has been able to just expand herself and to see it. I pretty much just ran what she couldn't. From talking to the people while she was trying to figure out the why the technology wasn't doing what she wanted it to do, understanding her funnel system and even looking up how to utilize technology more to create that funnel. Um, and obviously just making connections with other people in the area who are just in the same realm of thinking of expanding, of ownership, of entrepreneurship that she is. And so that part also is actually pretty dope. That part is actually pretty dope. Um, that was really dope. So I'm happy she got to be able to do that. And that was a long day. That was really a long day. But I mean, we was able to push through. And so, work wise, it's been, like I've been working through learning programming language for Salesforce called Sockwell, and it'll just allow me to add another layer of my skill set doing back end testing is that in addition to the front end testing that I currently do on Salesforce. And so, even with that, and coming back from the event um, a few weeks ago, just stacking on top of each other and just working through allowing myself to use AI more to get the work that I'm doing, and then even understanding where to place my focus so that I can have a better understanding of what I allow AI to work for me so that I can still check it as it is doing what I am designing it to do. And so that's a cool expansion point because, you know, was it a year or so ago, I went from total hesitation to now intentionally deploying the information so I can get the proper responses that I need to be able to get. Or is this fuzzy? Okay. And so there's that. And today, well, not only did my friend Prayer call and let me know that he ended up taking a pay cut from a job that was paying him a lot, but it was taking everything from him. His health, he felt his health deteriorating. He wasn't able to go to the gym, and the gym is that is his love. His sleep was messed up. Nothing within his physical health space was right, but he had the money. But it was almost as if there was a question that was being asked of him, just saying, "What is this all worth? And how much of you are you willing to give up for it?" And he chose himself. And now he will be soon working in a space where, at least from his understanding, um, it'll actually be fun. And so it won't just be something he's doing for money or something to do for survival. He's still making a decent enough income from this new job to still move on with his life, to still follow and focus on what he wants to do with his life, but to being able to do it to wait and enjoy the work that you do. That is a different level of peace of mind. To wake up every day that you work and be really good about the fact that you're going to work. To want to take time to pursue something that advances your ability to do the work that is in front of you because you actually enjoy it. And in doing that, learning things it's not necessarily work so much. You're just doing something to help provide you information and data and skill and tool sets. So, and I'm glad he has that now. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. And then Travis calls me and asks me if I want to go to Korea. And I'm like, wait, what? And I had to let it sit and process. And I'm like, I've been trying to get to Asia for the hell yeah, I want to go to Korea. And this is where I recognize that my mindset. So all this past week, my abundance mindset has been shifting because, and I think that part started when I got my tickets for Sedona for next month. So Travis and I have been talking about Sedona. So he is now going with me to Sedona. Well, we will both be going. I'm still going to my Bashar event, but while I'm out there, Travis has figured, why don't we all go? Why don't we both go and go see my dad at the same time? And so we've been working through the logistics of that. After got when I got paid, I was looking at airplane tickets, and I I didn't focus so much on the price of the ticket. I looked at it, but I'm like, I don't want to take multiple planes. I want to take a direct flight, and I want to be comfortable. So let me see what that is. And I know I have a buffer to where if I needed to pull from a source, I had it to pull, though I may not have wanted to. And I found out that, and when I got the flight, there was an option to use a firm or Klarna. I think it was Klarna. How I utilize Klarna is, even though they say monthly for all the stuff, like for that one, they said you can do zero interest, but it was like zero interest for like, it was zero interest with three payments. And yeah, I could have made those payments for those 3 months, but eh, I didn't really want to, knowing what these next 3 months are going to be. And that's a lot that's going to go into them. And so I didn't want to necessarily stress where my money was going to how the money was going to operate in that time span. I wasn't going to do the 18 months because that's longer and that's more interest than I'm choosing to want to pay. So what I did was I opted for the 12th month option because the 12th month option gave me enough of a monthly payment to where I can pay it every 2 weeks. And that's generally how I try to use these. However much the payment is, can I pay that every 2 weeks? Because if I can pay it every 2 weeks, then that means I'm paying it off faster, which also means the amount of interest that I'm paying to them. So the amount of money that they're amount of extra money they're getting out of me gets reduced. And so by being able to do that, it freed up some money. And because it freed up money, I didn't feel so much of the strain when we went to the event. And so there was a lady who was doing a podcast and it was only like $40 for that day. And the regular price was $60. And for me, just because I've been working on expanding my outlook of money in relation to myself and what I'm doing with it. I went ahead and just said, yeah, with whatever we need to do, you need to get on that podcast now. The podcast didn't take place just because it was a long day and we had a lot going on. But that was me expanding myself out. And then today, um, and actually, and even all week since then, it's like I've bought things, but I wanted to. I didn't want, though I do feel and recognize and know that I have a larger surplus of money than I normally have had toward like the end of a pay period. I still said, all right, I took care of everything. Let me make sure that I'm good closer to the time I get paid again, just to make sure, again, kind of to cover, make sure nothing else crazy happens. And then the food, because I kind of get food on a week to week basis. And food had been the thing that's taken the majority of the extra money at a time, but not so much because I'm eating a little bit less. But anyway, and then my brother Travis called and he just called to say, you want to go to Korea? And I'm like, I've been thinking about going to Asia for the longest. And so absolutely, let's go. And I remember I first started by saying, I gotta see how much it is first. And I heard him say, yeah, all we gotta do is just pick the places. So we were having two different thoughts from two different perspectives at the same time. And when I heard him say, okay, we just gotta find the spot and just figure that out, I said, yeah, 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 you know what? No, 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 no. I like what you just said. Let's figure out where we wanna go. So Seoul, Korea is it. Let's figure out an area and just map out how much it's gonna cost and everything from there. And so given our relationship and where we are, the ability for us to actually have a trip that we just went on just kind of for us, that's actually dope. And then I was working out while all of this was going on. Both people they called me while I was working out. And so I was like, you're gonna have to hang up because I'm carrying weights right now. I was doing a set of farmer's carries. And he said, okay. And it didn't happen. So I heard him talking to my niece some more, and he just elated and excited that we are going on a trip. And I heard more in the background. And he was saying, this is going to be a trip for Daddy and Uncle Mike. We're going to have a men's day. Like how you and your friends have a girls' day, we're going to have a men's day. And I don't know. It was just like it was an adorable moment that I just got to capture almost in silence, really, because I didn't even say anything after that. I had finished my set, and so I just put the phone down. I mean, I just hung the phone up and just allowed them to have the rest of that moment. But I can feel, right? Abundance feels so different. Abundance feels so different when you are struggling. The survival is the primary focus. It's really just get from day to day to day, then you get a little bit of wiggle room and you can actually kind of calculate month to month. And now I'm in a space where I'm even considering operating year to year to where I can see a year out, 2 years out, 5 years out, 10 years out. I've already seen there's always stuff in 2028 that I know that I'm already preparing myself for. That's when I'm gonna get a new vehicle. And so the thought and the idea of hanging out with Travis in Korea sounds absolutely fantastic. And it's exciting because I also have been figuring out because I'm coming out of survival and in the abundance, the fuel to get me to lock in and do certain things, this isn't there anymore. And I've been tr- figuring out what my anchor or what my waypointer is or what the thing that's going to drive me to not get as distracted during the middle of a work day. And as I'm thinking about that and looking at, okay, there are things that I can reduce during my work day, but having a trip to plan that gets me out the country and allows me to see a culture that I've been wanting to see for a long time that who knows, I might even be able to look to see if I can live there at some point. That's a that's a vision waypoint to anchor into. And that is so I am so happy about that. So those are kind of like the largest wins and the largest things that I can speak to. C starts moves into college on Thursday. So next time I come back, I'll probably talk about that process and what that felt like in this upcoming weekend and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying the person that I'm growing into. I'm thoroughly enjoying the person that I'm growing into. And every individual that I start to come across, not everyone, but every time I go outside and I interact with people, I am recognizing that the light that I am carrying, it just happens to illuminate around people. They're just people that when I come in contact with them, something about their energy and mine just lights up. And then even from a distance and from afar, I recognize how people are watching me and the like all boats rising with the tide type of thing. Is like, and as I continue to maneuver and navigate and push through my own insecurities and just have these moments where I am um, cocooning out, right, spreading out of the cocoon that I've been in. I'm seeing the people who are expanding and growing that are in my circle in their own way. And I've had multiple people say to me that my just watching me and here talking to me and everything is inspiring. Not my words, their words. Um, that's really all I want to. That's all I'm really here to do is to live life in a way where somebody can see something that I'm doing and be inspired by it. I can have a conversation that'll inspire someone to do something. However, how when I meet people, I would like for something about the interaction to improve them in some way from before we met. If I can, the people that I come across, where whatever state they were in when they came in contact with me, if something I said, I did, something they heard inspired them a little bit to be a little bit better than they were before they met me or before they saw me or before the interaction or whatever, I know my life is good because I'm doing it by living in a way that I desire for myself and just experiences that keep me fulfilled with people that I love and would enjoy to share it with. That's is that's kind of like the core in every part and everything that I do. In that, it always tends to align. The universe is always aligning as I continue to operate in this space. As I continue to operate in this space, even when there's a stumble, it always tends to align. Great, 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 great. So that's how life has been. Let's see what's coming up in this next week or two.